So this whole process, the awakening, unfolds in 3 phases. The first phase is when the content of consciousness appears to be in the foreground and the awareness, the silence, the peace appears as the background. Now again, this is just a conceptual explanation. So what I mean by that is that all your worries about finances, relationships, and all other life problems basically appear in the foreground. All the life's existential questions, spiritual questions, the seeking appears to be in the foreground, and the peace appears to be in the background. Now this phase is quite troublesome for the spiritual seeker, because there are moments when seeker experiences bliss, while other moments the seeker gets caught up in the content, the thinking, the worrying, the anxiety, and so on. The second phase, as the understanding deepens and there is more awareness, there is a shift in perception where the content of consciousness now shifts to the background and the awareness comes on the forefront. So whatever is seen in the light of this awareness. So the content of consciousness now does not hold that much tension, that much stress. It does not appear to be as a problem that is to be solved, because there is always an underlying, or let's say an awareness which is in the foreground, which keeps the person relatively calm and composed. This is when one starts experiencing more and more peace, more and more fulfillment in daily living. And then comes the final phase, the third phase, where both the background and the content of consciousness becomes one. Now this is not a permanent state. This is an understanding. It's a recognition. It's not that in duality these two merge. In appearances they are always separate. There is always a separation in duality which separates the perceiver and the perceived. But there is an underlying recognition that the perceiver is one with all that is perceived. And that consciousness, the pure knowing, is the substance everything is made up of. Even to say that everything is made up of consciousness is a reduction of consciousness. But that is the best we can do with words, because it is extremely challenging to describe that which is all. So our definition of all and everything is usually big, vast. And that is why in the traditional scriptures they use the word Brahman. The word Brahman means vast, big, which serves as a good explanation, as a good conceptual explanation, but it does not do justice to that, to all, to everything, to infinite. All these are just reductions. The only way to know to know it is to be it. So when everything becomes one, when there is a recognition that there is one underlying principle that is all made up of knowing, that is when all the questions dissolve and one abides in a peace which more or less remains like a constant. It is not that we do not experience emotions and troubles and we do not feel the intensity. It's not like that. But even when we feel troubling emotions or intensity, there is a knowing, there is a recognition that even that is made up of pure knowing, which is consciousness.